Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Gundam News. And we are immediately kicking off with some very good news. The life-sized moving Gundam, also known as the RX-78F00 Gundam, or, the Gundam from the Gundam Factory Yokohama, will be returning. In a way. It will now be part of the Gundam Next Future Pavilion at the 2025 World Expo, which will be held in Osaka. But there are a few differences between what it's going to become and what it was. First up, the most obvious thing. It has been upgraded to the RX-78F00/E, and its left shoulder armor, left front skirt, and left calf have now been equipped with extra armor with what looks like a psycho frame. The thing then that you can tell from this picture is that it unfortunately can no longer move, at all. Obviously, without the whole support structure, this thing wasn't just going to stand up and walk around. But when I first saw this picture, which by the way is a 1/100 scale model of what it's going to become, I thought that at least the arm was going to be able to move. It goes from a standby mode to reaching up to the heavens, because that's kind of the whole symbolism with this, with the new version of the statue. It reaches to the stars. But no, it's not moving at all. Also, the pavilion that will be built next to it is made to resemble a spaceport. And if you want to watch the promotional video about it, I will have that linked down below. And what I'll also have linked down below is the Gundam Conference Summer 2024, where they announced this as well as some other things. So let's go over the most important ones. First up, for the people who are heavily anticipating the next Hathaway's Flash movie, you were asked to be a bit more patient. And, well, you can take that however you will. It is unfortunate that you have to wait longer, but on the flip side, it is better to wait for a good product than having something rushed out that ends up being disappointing. For the G Gundam fans then, the news was better in that it is going to be more immediate. They got this new promotional art, a quick rundown of the story, and a confirmation that the story will be published on the G Gundam website starting July the 5th, so about a week from now. It is set after Domon and friends became the new Shuffle Alliance, but before the finals of the 13th Gundam fight. So it will take place during the time frame of the anime. Fighters from other countries begin to ask the gang questions about why they became the new Shuffle Alliance, but they can't answer them. Then the finals begin with an exhibition by Domon and Master Asia, which I'm assuming is what the new art is depicting. But just then, 5 unknown Gundams pop up and call themselves the Dark Shuffle. And I'm assuming that they're there to challenge the new Shuffle Alliance to become the Shuffle Alliance. And I'm also going to assume that Miss Safety Cone Hair there is going to be their leader. And afterwards, they also announced a bunch of new products, without going into too much detail though. We're getting a metal-built God Gundam, with more details to be released. We're getting more G Gundam Gunpla, also with more details to be released. We got the prototype for the G-Frame Full Armor Kowloon Gundam, which we'll be releasing in December. And these plush keychains of Domon and Master Asia will also be releasing in December for 2,200 yen each, 14 US. For the Gundam Seed fans then, it was mostly things that we already knew, but they also showed off 3 prototypes for upcoming figures. For 4,620 yen each, 29 US, there's a Kira and Athrun lookup figure, and for an as of yet unknown price, there's a Gundam Girls' Generation Lacus Klein pilot suit version figure. And for reasons that I think are pretty obvious when you look at the prototype, I think this is going to be a very popular figure. So keep your eyes peeled for when this thing goes up for pre-order, although for now, no release date is given for any of the 3 figures. Our second headline then is significantly worse. Bandai Namco Online is probably going to go bankrupt. But the silver lining here is that it's not actually as bad as it sounds. At least not for us Gundam fans. Bamco Online is basically its own little thing under the big Bamco umbrella, so them going out of business won't have an effect on the rest. For example, the model kit department or Bandai Namco Entertainment, which is responsible for most of their video games, like SD Gundam Battle Alliance or Elden Ring. Well, publishing them, of course. In fact, when we have a look at what Bamco Online has to offer, or more specifically, had to offer, it almost shouldn't be surprising that their financials were absolutely screwed. Going by their website, for Gundam, they have SD Gundam Operations and Gundam Tribe, 2 games that aren't available in the West. And they had Gundam Evolution. Rippin' pepperonis. The game had a great chance to succeed. It launched at almost the perfect time, and they completely ruined it. The only other 2 games listed then are Idolish 7, which I've never heard about, and Blue Protocol, which I only know about because there were some censorship issues with the upcoming Western release, which now might never come. So again, I don't know much about Blue Protocol, but after a bit of research, it seems that this game is also severely underperforming. The game was in development for years, so I'm assuming that this was kinda meant as like Bamco Online's magnum opus, and well, at first, it did really well in Japan with a player count of over 600,000, but almost just as quickly, those numbers crashed. There just wasn't a lot to do, and what there was to do was grindy and repetitive. And on top of that, new updates were few and far in between, which probably didn't give the players a lot of confidence that these issues were going to be fixed anytime soon. Worse yet, they couldn't even be bothered fixing serious bugs and resolving balancing issues. But at the very least, their gachapon systems were working, so that's something. So yeah, they royally screwed up 2 huge projects in a row where they were basically given the best possible start. I don't think things are looking good for Bamco Online's future, and I feel bad for the people who were waiting for the Western release of Blue Protocol. And for anyone concerned about SD Gundam G Generation Eternal, because that was also one of my first thoughts, the game falls under Bandai Namco Entertainment. So at the very least, the reason that we haven't heard about the game in a very long time by now shouldn't have anything to do with this. And continuing with the sad news, in light of his recent scandal, Tohru Furuya will be stepping down from 2 of his famous roles, being Tohru Amuro from Detective Conan and Seibo from One Piece. But what is important to note here is that this was done after he was asked to do so by his agency, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with Amuro Ray. For better news then, we go to the model kits and action figures. First up for the model kits, we're getting the premium Bandai Limited high-grade Gym Night Seeker 2. The thing goes for 2,860 yen, 18 US, and is of course a remold of the standard Night Seeker. The base model is now a Gym Light armor, so it has changes to its ankle armor, front skirt armor, cockpit armor, and shoulder armor. Plus, it no longer has Vulcans on its face, and the beam saber is also different. In terms of accessories then, we see a lot of things returning as well. 2 holding hands, 2 trigger finger hands, 2 open hands, a commander type head, but again, this time without the Vulcan guns, a beam gun, a beam spray gun, and then as a new accessory, it also comes with a 100mm machine gun. Pre-orders on Japanese Premium Bandai started on the 25th, and the thing is currently slated for a September release. And then just in today is the Premium Bandai Limited High-Grade Altron. The final kit needed to complete the main Gundams from Gundam Wing, in high-grade form. And this is definitely a kit that many people have been joking about, and also a lot of people have been waiting for. But what I find really funny with this kit, and also with the Shenlong before it, is that they got much better model kit treatment in the 90s. Back then, neither Sandrock nor the Heavy Arms ever got a 1/100 scale, and their upgrades didn't even get a model kit. But both the Shenlong and the Altron did. But anyways, it's now going to have a very movable Dragon backpack with legit more movement than I was expecting. For example, the wings have a joint midway, and it of course also comes with its standard accessories. A bunch of hands, extension parts for the arms, and its signature weapon, the Twin Beam Trident, both in active and deactive mode. Pre-orders have gone live on Japanese P Bandai, and for 2,640 yen, 16 US, this thing can be yours in October. And what is also Premium Bandai Limited is the first figure that was announced this week, the Capsule Action Striker Pack set. For 5,940 yen, 37 US, it comes with a Sky Grasper, an Action Base, the Launcher Striker, Sword Striker, with both an active and deactive sword and boomerang, the Ale Striker, with parts to turn it into the Perfect Striker, but no Beam Saber Blade effect parts, and the clear version of the Strike Gundam, which I feel is a bit of a dick move, because I feel like most people would want the standard version of the Strike Gundam, but maybe that's just me. And of course, on top of that, it is also sad to see that the Striker packs are Premium Bandai Limited, because why not also make them one of the more expensive capsules, like charge 1,500 yen per spin, 10 US, for a Sky Grasper with one of the Striker packs. But anyways, pre-orders for the set started on the 21st, and it'll be flying your way in November. What isn't Premium Bandai Limited then are the next 2 Robot Spirits figures. For 12,100 yen, 75 US, there is the Strike Noir version anime. And looking at the lower legs, you can really tell that this thing was very inspired by the line art of the Strike Noir. Like, it always had this weird thing, according to me, where the knee armor takes up almost the entire lower leg. Then you just have like a small vent underneath, and it is immediately to the ankle armor already, which I always thought gave the legs a very stocky appearance. And therefore, I was very happy when they didn't do this with the Master Grade and the High Grade. The shin is much longer here, giving them a very nice and lean appearance. The Robot Spirits version anime then is kinda meeting these versions in the middle. It's not as ridiculously short as the line art, but it does still have a heavier feel than the model kits. What is less anime accurate then, but kinda standard for these Gundam Seed version anime figures, is that the chest is a bit stretched. So yeah, definitely some interesting proportions going on here. As for the accessories, we get the basics for a Strike Noir figure. 2 shorty beam rifles with beam effect parts, 2 Froggerrock 3 beam blades with beam blade effect parts, 2 dual style beam rifles, a bunch of standard hands, and 2 special hands that come with 2 rocket anchors. Unfortunately though, they only show the rocket anchors with the hands, and not with the feet or the backpack, which should also have rocket anchors. But minor nitpicks aside, this thing goes up for pre-order on July the 1st, and will be committing war crimes in a neighborhood near you in November. And 1 month later, the Gym 2 Earth Federation Forces type version anime can join in on the war crime fun for 9,350 yen, 58 US. And to be even more specific, this is the Zeta Gundam version, which you can tell by the feet and the accessories. It only comes with a basic shield, a single beam saber, and its standard beam rifle. But it does make up for those standard accessories with some really cool extras. It comes with 2 thruster effect parts, a standard and swinging beam saber blade effect part, and something that I don't think I've ever seen on a Gym 2 figure or model kit so far. Not only does the beam rifle come with a beam effect part, but it can now also be stored on the back skirt. And personally, I just love it when a model kit or a figure can store weapons on the body of the mobile suit, especially if this wasn't explicitly shown in the anime. And together with these new Robot Spirits releases, we are also getting 4 restocks. In December, the Goof and the Gun Cannon, and in January, Char's Custom Gelgook and the Vanilla Gym. But the most surprising news then was this drawing for the next machine build figure that Mega House is supposedly currently working on. It is a bust of the Alpha Azieru, and while there is no official word on what the scale of this thing is going to be, the machine build line is supposed to be like compatible with high-grade model kits, so chances are extremely high that this thing is going to be 1/144th scale. So start saving! And then just today, the premium Bandai Limited FW Gundam Converge Core, Gundam Unit 3 Dendrobium, and Neue Ziel 083 Final Battle set went up for pre-order. The set is slated for a March 2025 release, and for 10,890 yen, 68 US, you are getting a lot, but it's up to you to decide if they justify the massive price of these miniaturized mobile armors. Also, this set is a re-release of a 2016 set, but with more fancy colors and markings, as well as slightly updated molding. So we have the GPO-3 with 2 bazookas, a beam rifle, and a shield, the Dendrobium with active arms with beam sabers, opening weapon containers with a micro missile pod and a large missile pod, a stand, and what I think is meant to be the demolition mine. And then we have the Neue Ziel, which comes with a very fancy Xeon stand, 2 wires, 2 stands, and 2 replacement arms to have the claws shoot out, active and deactive sub-arms, and parts to have the main claws active. Meanwhile, on the gaming front then, in Gundam Battle Operation 2 this week, we have something special, because the Full Armor Unicorn Gundam is joining the fray on both Steam and on the PlayStation. Plus, for some extra information on what is coming in both versions of the game, they also released a new developers video, which I will have linked down below. Meanwhile, over at UC Engage then, the UR Unicorn Gundam Perfectability and UR Benager links have become available as extremely limited unit assemblies, and the latest clan battle has gone live. And from the Call of Duty collaboration, we got this really nice piece of art, showing an operator with the RX-78-2 skin standing in front of the real RX-78-2. In other news then, an RX-78-2 and Zagok themed manhole have been installed in Mutsu. We got this new art from Gundam Seed to celebrate Gundam's 45th anniversary, and we've gotten the profiles of 2 new machines from the Witch from Mercury Vanitas Heart manga. The Beguir-Beu Torche. The machine is a variant of the standard Beguir-Beu, and it still has the anti-Gundam non-kinetic pod weapons, but it is now made specifically for use on Earth. It is deployed by Dominicus, and the two teams that use them have different heads. We have the more standard one used by the Ridrick team, and the bunny ear version used by the Kananji team. Also, with those new legs combined with the very white color scheme, they are giving me some Schneeweiss vibes. Oh, and something I don't think I've covered yet is that Gundam Silver Phantom's release date is set for fall of 2024. As for the things you could get this week then, on the 22nd, the Robot Spirit Strike Gundam version anime got a restock for 7,150 yen, 45 US. And it of course comes complete with its beam rifle, shield, 2 Armor Schneider combat knives, 2 Eagle Shelling effect parts, 2 thruster effect parts, and a variety of hands. Next up on the 24th, a set of Gundam sticker wafers was released. One package will cost you 143 yen, which is a little under $1, and comes with a chocolate flavored wafer and one of 33 different stickers. They include characters and mobile suits from the original series, Gundam Seed Freedom, and Witch from Mercury, and 3 of the 33 stickers are secret. Collect them all. And then throughout the week, the 6th lineup of the MS Mechanical Bust series became available in Gachapon machines across Japan. Meaning that for 500 yen a spin, 3 US, you can get either the Strike Freedom Gundam Type 2's armor in regular color, the armor in a clear golden color, or the inner frame plus lighting unit, which then has to be combined with one of the armor sets to give you a full figure. For this week's reading material then, we got the July issue of Electone, which is a magazine focusing on electric organs, and includes the score for Freedom, the theme song for Gundam Seed Freedom. Then there was the August issue of Shonen Sunday Special, in which Gundam Aggressor is being serialized, the July issue of Grand Jump Mucha, in which Gundam Rust Horizon is being serialized, the August issue of Gundam Ace, in which a lot of Gundam series are being serialized, the August issue of Hobby Japan, featuring a variety of Gunpla tips and tricks, which are demonstrated on a variety of freedoms, and the August issue of Model Graphics, featuring a very diverse lineup of Gunpla, like the high-grade Rudra, the high-grade Demi Garrison, the SD Zeta Plus, and even the old-school Silver Sumo. And in addition to the magazines, we also got 2 manga volumes. Volume 4 of Code Fairy and Volume 3 of N Extreme. Moving on to this week's apparel news then, where Strict G kicked things off with a variety of t-shirts. For 5,280 yen a pop, 33 US, you can get an oversized t-shirt with the available colors being white with the ARC-78-2, black with Char Zaku 2, and navy with the Goof in a very dynamic pose. And then we've got a black t-shirt with 3 super deformed DOMs. You can get it in adult sizes for 4,730 yen, 30 US, or in kid sizes for 3,300 yen, 21 US. And you can also get those DOMs, as well as Char Zaku and a mass production Zaku, as a rubber keychain for 1,210 yen each, 8 US. The keychains, as well as the oversized t-shirts, will be available in physical Strict G stores on the 22nd, but the DOM t-shirts will only be available in physical stores somewhere mid-July. And then on the 29th, they started selling these Ring 28 Degrees Ice thingies, which are made in collaboration with Suo. So, the deal with these things is that you can wear them around your neck, and that thanks to the stuff inside, they will freeze at temperatures below 26-27 degrees, which is below 80 Fahrenheit. So basically perfect for a hot summer. You go inside, they cool down. When you go back outside, they will cool you down. The available designs are Kira Yamato Blue, Char Azimuth Red, and Mafty Orange, and they'll go for 4,180 yen each, 26 US. Bankore, meanwhile, made more acrylic stands. Shocker, I know. But this time, they have some interesting messages. For 1,760 yen a piece, 11 US, we've got Amuro with Away, Working from Home, and On Paid Leave. And then we've got Char with On Break, Clocked Out, or In a Meeting. Each, of course, with a very fitting image. And remember, since they exist, or will exist, there is a higher than 0% chance that someone will actually use these in an actual work environment. And that someone could be you. They'll be shipping out in August. And as always, let's quickly wrap things up with the polls. Gundam.info didn't have anything special this week, so let's have a look at the poll that I did for your favorite OG full armor Gundam. Because the results definitely surprised me. With 40%, the original full armor Gundam came in first, despite all of its problems. But I can't deny that there is definitely something cool about the design, especially when you combine it with that awesome color scheme. In second place then, with 33%, we have the full armor 7th Gundam. A unit that I also think is really cool, but also a unit that I thought was more niche. So I'm happy to see that this thing is more popular than I thought it was. Which is also the case apparently for the Perfect Gundam, which is in third place with 17%. It is by far the most over-the-top design and also the least practical design, but when done well, those kinds of designs do have their own charm to them. You know, like the Perfect Gundam does. And then in last place with only 10%, we have the Heavy Gundam. I'm not a huge fan of how they redesigned the abdomen armor, although I guess the rounded shape does make it more effective, but I absolutely love the frame launcher, and I also think it has a very unique look to it with those goggles. So yeah, I was definitely expecting it to do better than 10% and a last place. But it is what it is. And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.